and we don't want to be divisive here on this first podcast back after the hip hiatus.
the hip hiatus. Is that what this period will be known as?
The hip-induced hiatus. Yes.
The elective surgery that you had.
And I guess technically it's elective surgery, yes.
You elected.
Yeah.
For no pain.
That's right. I elected to try to be pain-free for at least 15 to 20 years until I have to have a revision. But I don't want to talk about that right now.
Oh, well, hopefully our niece can take care of that then.
Maybe, that'd be great.
Maybe there'll be better technology at that point and be like, pfft.
Yeah. We'll just give you a whole new leg.
We've grown you a new leg?
We've grown you a new leg. It just screws right on.
It's the screw top method from the man with two brains.
Yeah.
You just do that.
Who knows in 15 or 20 years the way things progress?
Yeah.
Probably not. But
speaking of progression, though.
Progression.
I like what you've done there. You've
segued
perfectly.
What did I do? What have I done?
The art of coffee brewing, making, roasting. It progresses over time. New things, new techniques.
True.
Always, as someone used to be in the industry, I'm still in the industry.
Yes.
We're always looking for new things, new ways of experiencing, brewing, all this kind of stuff. There's one that's been around for a while, but it's still not 100%, everywhere.
The type of brewing?
The type of aging.
Aging, okay. All right.
Because usually when you think about a cup of coffee, you're like, oh, I need that as fresh as possible.
Of course. You don't want stale. It's not good.
What if you could add greater complexity, but you just had to wait a little bit?
I could do that.
What if you barrel aged it?
Barrel aging is usually good.
That usually is good. And we're going to find out how it works for coffee on this Give It a Shot. I'm Andrew.
And I am Keith. And we are AboutBeverages.com. And the beverage that we are about today is the King's Coast Bourbon Barrel Aged Honduran Coffee. Honduran coffee.
That's right.
This is something I know relatively little about, so I'm going to turn it back over to you to explain. Well, how you've come to even know because they're out of New York, right? This roaster. I thought I saw Long Island.
Long Island. That is correct.
Long Island, New York.
They're out of Long Island. They are owned by a group of streamers that I follow quite a bit. Entrepreneurs. Let's call them entrepreneurs because I think that's really a better term because they're not just about obviously what we like, beverages, gameplay, all these things. Well, especially what I like.
Right.
So they're not just about that. They're about entrepreneurship.
Okay. Making
some extra cash.
That's good.
Exactly. But doing it in a good way. Hopefully. Okay. We'll find out. We don't actually know.
That's true.
I have followed several of them for quite a while now. I believe this coffee company is now a couple years old. I apologize if I'm wrong on that. I should have looked that fact up quicker. I was not ready to be put on the spot. No. So anyway, they seems like they're getting really great marks for their coffee process. They're doing a lot of different things with single origins. They're dipping their toes in many different waters. Like I said, from some lighter roasts to some darker roasts, some different blends. Like I said, a lot of blends have gone towards some wonderful charity work for St. Jude Children's Hospital, which I'm very much appreciative of. That's a cause that I know both of us are very much in support of. And so this is one that has always piqued my curiosity for quite some time. We have had previously another barrel-aged coffee. It was from Modern Times Brewing. They also have, obviously, they roast coffee as well. Right. And they did I believe it was an Ethiopian aged in Pinot Noir barrels. We did a podcast on that many years ago. You can find that in the archives at AboutBeverages.com. We liked it, but the biggest question was, how much did the barrel aging actually add to the Ethiopian? Because a lot of those kind of natural African coffees, that one specifically usually has some berry notes in it, some fruit that the wine was accenting, but did the coffee already have that in there to begin with, and is it more of just like a marketing thing? Right. So they also do some other barrel-aged things as well, which I have not had, but this is one I've really wanted to kind of seek out, and it's hard to come by.
Well, which is why, too, initially when I saw that it was Honduran, I thought, kind of from the experience I have with Honduran, which isn't a ton lately, but Honduran was always more of a mild, neutral type. Right. Not always, but in many cases, and that's why I know it used to be that was used for flavored coffee.
Yeah, to put
was one of the ones that was So that's why I was wondering if maybe this is a little more neutral, because like you say with the Ethiopian coffees, you usually do expect berry or winey notes from those types, anyways. So this one maybe is just like a nice neutral who knows, the like playground for hopefully the barrel aging to reveal itself.
And that's 100% what I was thinking too. The more I thought about it, I was like, oh, I'm surprised you didn't pick a different coffee for that. But that might be a wonderful platform that supports like, hey, we really want to show off what that aging process, which they go for 21 days, so about 3 weeks is how long they age the green coffee in a barrel.
Okay, so it's green when it's
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Before they actually roast it, and then they are kind enough to seal it in this delightful airtight container.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Which is very nice. 10 ounces runs you $19, I think, under $20, $18-20 for 10 ounces. They only sell it whole bean. They want you to grind it fresh, which we did just today. So that this is the first exposure that you've had to it at all. I've been smelling it for a few weeks now because I have purchased it from a previous lot. They had more that came in stock a couple days ago. It already sold out again. Like it's usually within hours this sells out because obviously they don't do a lot of it and there's a huge demand for it.
Cool canisters though, really cool.
Yeah, they're very nice looking. So we are going to brew up a pot. You were kind enough to bring over your Chemex brewer.
Yes.
Which you want to give that? I'm going to reach down for it.
The lovely Chemex. We discussed doing. Did we talk French? I think
we talked a little bit
French press, which is a style that we love and would probably give definitely a different cup and probably a truer because there's no paper filter involved.
Sure.
This is definitely a cleaner cup. There's not as much. There aren't as many solids in it. There's not as much body to it, but I like it still because you have the pour over method. You still have the boiling water. That you have a little more control over making sure there are no pockets of dry grounds. So and lately it's been kind of my go-to method just because it's been easier. It's easier to clean. It's just been easier and it makes a little bit more. So I've got some left over for later. So so we're gonna do that here. Should I keep that out of the way?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
It's right there. Look, that's perfect.
So, yes.
So a different brewing method than we have talked about previously. So we'll kind of go over that in a little bit as well. We will, we actually have to, I forgot to even grab the coffee. Because we were so concerned with getting the water together and everything else, we knew there was going to be some downtime. So while the water gets boiling,
we get the water boiling,
We're going to go get the coffee. We'll talk about aromatics and things like that, and then you'll kind of see part of the process. Especially if you're watching the live version of the show on twitch.tv/AboutBeverages, is where you'll see the entire full length process.
Yes.
It'll be edited down a little bit in this video, but you can go in the archives if you want to see the whole thing. Okay. So, all right, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to go grab that coffee. We're going to get the water going, and then we'll be right back. All right, we are back. The water is boiling as we speak. Well, it's not quite. It's coming to boil.
Yes.
I should say coming up.
The electric kettle has begun the process.
Okay. So as that process has begun, we are going to weigh out our coffee for the brew. Okay. And then for the first time, you're going to go ahead. We're going to smell the whole. I've got the whole bean here.
Okay.
You can go ahead and you can smell that. And then I already have some ground, which I did just this morning. The reason I did that is because I did it at work where I have like I said, actually a commercial grinder. I wanted a very specific grind setting for this based on the Chemex. I wanted it, like I said, I want to give this as much of a fair shot as possible and have as much chance of success as possible. So we are sparing no expense.
And get there's like a sweetness almost from like a dark sweetness like syrup or not quite molassesy, but some sort of sweet.
So I got brown sugar. When like I said, I've been smelling this off and on for the last several weeks. Like I walk by, I'm like, oh, where's it kind of progressed to as it's sat a little bit. And definitely the brown sugar comes through. I get a little vanilla in there too. But yeah, it is a little, like I said, is on the lighter side. You can tell because they do use a drum roaster. It is the San Franciscan is their roaster that they use. Like I said, it's a really cool looking roaster. It's really neat looking, but it is still a drum, so there's a little bit more unevenness to the look of the bean. And it is a little bit lighter. I don't know how much of that'll wind up coming through in the flavor, so that'll be definitely something we'll have.
And we don't know what kind of bourbon. Or
they just said bourbon. It said locally sourced.
There's a little something like maybe a little.
I really like fruit. The smell. I like the smell of this.
A little fruit, a little vanilla, a little. I guess I'm still surprised that they take green coffee and age it in the barrels. I would almost think you would take Has anybody ever experimented with roasted coffee?
No, I think the reason they
barrel?
use green though is because it's so much more porous. Once you've roasted, you've closed off that
Oh,
loop.
I thought you.
You're taking off outer bits of the. Like I said, green coffee is very porous and
Is
can
it?
take on
Okay.
aromas
Yeah,
and
that's
smells
true.
and
It is.
things.
It is rough. Yeah, that's
So-
right. That's right.
And that's why they
Okay.
do it that way. And then you don't want to like I said, we're used to a slightly darker roast profile. That was why one of the bags I got from them, I wanted to make sure it was one of their darker ones.
Right.
I mean, I don't like it, I don't like it burnt to a crisp, but like I like
Right.
I like a French roast. I like a
Right.
medium to dark roast. I like a Vienna. I have a feeling with most of the barrel aging things, they're going to be a little bit on the lighter side because you probably don't want to roast out what nuance might be there.
Right.
So you're
Right.
you're really playing a
Yeah.
balance.
No, and that makes sense. I understand.
We're going to do a few things. You explain it.
I do not claim to be an expert on brewing Chemex coffee. When I got this,
So you are a complete expert. Go on.
So when I first started reading about this method, it intrigued me. I got one as a birthday gift, and then I just honestly I just watched a couple of videos. I think I may have watched like Starbucks or maybe Stumptown or somebody's video, and then there was another one that popped up like right underneath that, and I kind of just did a hybrid of what they did. I used my own measurements weight wise as far as the coffee to water ratio, but the one thing they both did was to they pre-wet the
50
filter.
grams?
Yeah, let's just because
Okay.
we'll do that. And
So we're going to do 50 grams of coffee
and then we said what 900
to 32 ounces of water.
Right.
Or 950 grams,
50
basically,
grams,
of water.
essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we were actually going to, by weight. We were going to do that by weight.
Yeah. So the
There's
best type of
Okay. Wait on that.
kettle to use, actually, electric kettle for this it's called a gooseneck, and it has this really thin long, and you can easily control your pour. And if you go to coffee roasting facilities or coffee brewers and they use this method, that is the kind that they have. Okay, that just went.
Okay. So we are grabbing the water right now. This is happening live right now.
You want to pre-warm the pot itself, and you're also going to put some in your cup just to take that initial chill out of there. So when your coffee goes in, it's going into a pre-warmed vessel. So,
All right.
So that's
So that is done. We are, Keith is going to have to go dump that. I don't have a sink in the tasting room. Weird, I know. So we're going to take a quick pause, and we'll be. Wow, you were just really.
I was
jump
ready.
out of
I
your
didn't know
chair.
what you were gonna do.
Hey man, we need to make proper edits here.
Okay.
I'm not a magician. We'll be right back. All right, you have gotten rid of the excess water that we did not need,
we did not.
and it is time now to put in. Well, this is the cup that you're going to be using, but we have our coffee in here. So
Yes.
Do you want to dump
Yeah,
it in
just
there?
put that right in there.
Okay.
This is what's called the bloom. So you're getting some of the initial more volatile gases are bubbling up here to the surface. The brewing process is beginning, and we're just letting that go for a little bit.
Now, do you mix this at all right now? or
Not
what?
at I don't
Okay.
at this point.
Okay.
Like I said, I let this kind of go, and you did a slightly finer grind, I think, that I'm used to too. So which I think was a good thing.
Yeah, we
sometimes
were
it goes a little faster.
Right.
No, usually then when I do this next phase, I usually get it up to about, 500 or 600 grams of water,
Okay.
and then I'll give it a stir, make sure there are no dry pockets in there, and then just let it continue to brew. I am by no means the authoritative, definitive voice on brewing coffee this way. So please, go to Google, do a search brewing Chemex coffee. There's a lot of videos with people who've done this a lot more than I have. But what I watched, like I said, put together and kind of made this process, and I've been very happy with the cup of coffee that I get from it. So I know some people say don't pour around the edges anymore. They say just pour in the middle. I've read some people that use the gooseneck when they're pouring in to kind of keep the coffee agitated, and so there's lots of different things, lots of different ways you can do this, but
And there are some things that do eventually come down to personal taste as well. Yep. If you like a little bit strong, I mean, there's some science that you shouldn't kind of go against, but there is some leeway where it's like, if you like a little bit stronger, do this. If you like it, there are some different little things. And guess what? I am pretty sure that in a YouTube world, in the comments section, we may get someone telling us how they like to brew their coffee and what we're doing wrong or correct. Probably more wrong, but guess what? You're wrong. Ooh, that is full.
a little high. Okay.
Oh, just by 2 grams. Perfect. 952. Nice job.
Went a little bit high on that, but yeah. Now this is going to take you'll probably want to look for a spot where you.
I think we are at a good spot. So we've got to let this basically steep through?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Usually I'm used to like with the French press where you've got it all in contact right away. Usually it's kind of like 2.5 minutes through that. You do what you did where you're stirring up the grounds. You're kind of breaking the crust. You're getting those aromas. Then you let it sit for that, 4 to 5 minutes depending on what you like. Do the press and you're good to go. But this is kind of more of a wait as you go process. So we will just do a little time lapse here and we'll be right back. All right. Well, as you can see, the brew is complete.
Maybe you can see. There we go.
There we go.
There it is.
All right.
The filter has been removed. The grounds have been taken care of. And we have warmed up our cups. And we're ready. We're ready to pour.
We are ready to pour.
Let's give a little swirl.
Nice. Mix everything up in there. Oh, put a little money on it. Now we're talking. Like it.
Put some money on it.
Here's your cup there. We did warm up our cups as well. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yeah. Maybe I should have poured that near the microphone.
Oh, I thought you were going to say pour that on the table. It's like, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. Sure. That's right.
Okay.
Let Phil have some.
All right. Oh, Phil can watch the.
Phil could have had
He
some.
can watch the Chemex.
All right.
All right. Well,
We'll go for the usual thing. Like I said, unfortunately, since it's a coffee cup, I can't really show you the color.
Yeah.
You saw it, though, when he picked it up. Guess what? It's color coffee.
It's brown.
It was brown. If it's brown, drink it down.
We'll start out another 10 years with coffee.
Hey, I like that. Anything in the
There's
aroma
not-
getting
there's
different from
not-
the...
I don't get a lot. Are you getting anything?
I'm getting similar. The thing that keeps coming through the most predominantly is that brown sugar sweetness that's in there, which is nice. It almost reminds me of like a natural coffee. Like we have some coffees from Mexico, Nayarit area. And the person that we roast for does a natural type process, and there's always this really good sweetness in there.
Okay, yeah.
Like I said, so I'm getting that. This is a different form of that, though. That's usually has a little bit more of a berry kind of sweet to it. So I'm getting that.
Yeah,
and
there's
a
a
little
little bit of
vanilla
that.
sweet, but then after that, it kind of fades off. I got a lot in the actual grounds, like we talked about.
Yes.
Like we got a little fruit.
Yeah.
Those things. So the fruit, I've kind of lost a little bit in the aroma.
Yeah, the ground was the best.
But the
aroma-wise.
grounds, yeah, exactly. But I'm getting still some of those other notes, which has me intrigued because it's different than a lot of the other things that I normally
So this
consume.
coffee is hot, and because we want to get as much as we can from the taste, we will do the slurp.
That's true. We will.
Unless that's changed.
No.
Okay.
Why would we do that, though?
Why would? Well, because it's hot, and then
That's
also
one.
to aerate it and spray it across the palate, so you get as much of the delicious goodness that's in there as possible. So
All right. To the slurp?
to the slurp. It's kind of like the aroma, the brewed aroma.
I would agree.
There is a little bit of that brown sugar. The body's okay. It's not bad. I mean, it's not.
It's actually for the
surprising.
roast profile, and like so, there's not a lot of oil development on there naturally because of it being a little bit lighter. Yeah, there's a little more body there than I expected. So that's nice. I get a little bit of the fruit, but I think the fruit I'm getting now is actually from the coffee being a lighter roast. Because it's not that darker fruit that I got out of the ground of the actual dry grounds.
Right.
I'm getting a little bit more of like there's like a apple kind of something like that, stone fruit kind of thing coming through. I get that kind of in the middle of my tongue. The finish is nice. It's pretty smooth. It's pretty clean. That's for me. Like I said, as soon as I think bourbon barrel aged, I think my only and it might not be possible. The only thing I would want, I wish there was just a little more body, even more than I'm getting, and then I wish there was just a little more like heft of, like I said, of just flavor in general.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a little bit. It's a lot of little bit lighter things, and like I said, maybe that's kind of all you can get out. I have not gotten to experiment with this process that much, so that's why I'm always interested in it, seeing what other people are doing, what can you make out of it, and there are a few other coffee roasters doing this. So
I just got a pop of something at the end that reminded me of what we used to say, the high dry.
Oh, okay.
There's like a high note of something
Right at the very back of your
flashes at the very end,
like on your soft palate, it kind of like hits.
Yeah.
I
Hits
get a
and
little
goes
bit of
up.
that too. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's
just a nice, pleasant cup of coffee. Like I said, I don't know. It's one of those things. The process is neat,
Yeah.
Is it $19 neat for 10 ounces? Not for me.
No.
I mean,
No. I guess, and I like Americanos, I like espressos, I like different drinks. I just love just a good or to great cup of coffee that is just the true expression of that country and like I said, we love bourbon barrel. I love experiment. I'm glad we got a chance to try this. Thank you for getting that. It's just, I guess it's like I'm probably sounding like an old man now. It's just a little, it's a little, I guess it's a little gimmicky. I mean, I'd like to see what this tastes like without that. What did this Honduran taste like roasted to the same?
So that's exactly what I was thinking of before we even did a taste. And I'm about to give a really good marketing idea. So King's Coast, open up your ears. This is what I had thought of even before I tried this. With any of these bourbon barrel aged coffees, and I know then you can do less of it, so I know that's a whole thing in itself. But if you had offered a box to me, a gift box or some sort of pack that was the original coffee itself and then the expression of the bourbon barrel, I would have bought that instantly too, because this podcast then would have even been more about that. I'd been like, we're brewing both of these things. Or even if it wasn't when I first tried those, I would have been so ecstatic to brew both of those items, try them side, and then really know what the difference is. Cause and I apologize if you guys have had, I don't think so. Cause I do look at the website quite a bit. Like I said, I don't know if you've had Honduran separately. If you have, or anyone else has had it, please correct me below. I'm happy to learn, but if I could have had both of those things together and be able to try them and say like, okay, that's what's adding to it. Okay, and this is where this is where the coffee begins and the bourbon barrel aging starts as well. Or I should say where the coffee ends and the barrel aging begins. Like I would love to know what that is, because like right now it's neat trying this as a whole and kind of trying to decipher, because I like that too. But to me, that would be the amazing experience. Was like, whatever it was, whether it was a Honduran or Peruvian or like whatever coffee you decided to use as the platform, you give that original, varietal. And even if maybe that's a smaller amount, maybe that's, because maybe that is
just
for
a
like,
brew size or
yeah,
something.
Exactly. Maybe it's just a half pound. Maybe you do a half pound in this 10 ounce one. Like maybe you don't have to do 2 full amounts, but like something where someone, hey, I can get a couple pots of the original to know what that's like. And then, oh yeah, this is why I like that. Or like, oh, I'm surprised there actually is, you actually get all of this out of the regular coffee and not even through the beer. So that to me would be an interesting experience. And I would, even after having tasted this and kind of not being sure if I would, buy again, if I saw a pack like that, I would totally buy that.
Because I would
because I would be interested in that comparison.
I would assume the roast masters have tried this coffee as it is.
100%. Of course they have.
Because that's why they picked it. So they must feel that this is a marked difference from, and that's and that would be nice to share that. Hey, here's what this is. Share that concept with everybody. Share. Oh, look, we're going to show you what this was, and we're going to show you what we turned this into. So, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, that would be an interesting experience. But I'm glad to have tried this. Like I said, it definitely does not. Full disclosure, I have, like I said, I bought 3 total bags. This one and 2 others. One of those other ones I did brew at work, and we all liked it. Like I said, it was the Bayman's blend. That one was pretty good. That was one of the darker brews that they do. It was a blend of Sumatra and Papua New Guinea. Like
those are 2
that one was pretty good. That one did have a little more body to it.
Okay.
Like I said, and had some of the neat Sumatra earthiness that's normally in there. So that one was good. Like I said, this definitely was a neat experience, and it would not turn me off to trying other things that they have in the least. I think, like I said, the quality is there. It's just for me. I think I don't know if I'm getting enough more for my dollar value.
Right.
And unfortunately, I'm also spoiled because you and I get to drink great coffee all the time so anyway, and we have for years. So
well, that's the same discussion we have. This isn't like this is unique to this type of coffee. We have this discussion with wine, with bourbon, with beer.
For sure. Yeah.
Where is that value? Where does that kick in?
I'm not getting any more flavor for my dollar. Like I've spent X amount more, and that's different for everybody. For someone else, it might be like, this is a bargain, and it's like and not that this is overly expensive. I think what they're charging for it is completely fair. It's just, for that price range, you can have other options, but definitely if this interests you at all, it does always sell out very fast. So I would recommend following them on Twitter and any of the other social media things. Like I said, it's King's Coast Coffee. And they usually do tweet out when it's about to be available. Like, hey, it's next hour, we're going to put up something neat. And they'll usually put a picture of a bourbon glass or something cool. So if this does interest you at all, definitely be watching them there so you can be ready to grab some. Because, definitely, whenever they put it out that morning, by midday, it is gone. So
Cool.
So that is that.
Ooh,
But
I like it.
I know the transitions, they're fast and furious here. All these new graphics that I hope you're all enjoying. This is the first video on YouTube with our new graphic layout. So hopefully you are enjoying all of that. And if you're interested in any of the other things that we've done in the past, they may not have as neat a layout as this because they were the old stuff. But the information there is still
The
excellent.
discussion, the conversation, it's still fun. It's still good. Still
Yeah.
worth the trip.
Worth the clicks?
Worth the trip. Worth the click. Worth your time.
Worth the click. Other
Worth
things
the
that are
effort.
other things that are worth the click. YouTube. We have a page on YouTube. Got a lot of videos up there. Most of these podcasts, if you don't want to go to the website, you can find it there. All these videos. Twitter, another place. We're on all the. You want something on social media? Do you want something from us on social media? We're there. Instagram, Twitter,
Twitch.
YouTube, Twitch. Oh my god.
That's not social media though, right? I guess.
No.
Yeah.
That is our live streaming platform, twitch.tv/AboutBeverages. If you want the full length breadth of a show like this, not the edited down version, if you want everything that we have to offer, which might be too much.
Right.
It honestly,
behind the scenes content.
It honestly could be. Exactly. That is also
Under the table content? No, just behind the scenes content.
No.
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 Yeah, no.
But as we always say, whether we like it or not,
You should give it a shot.